Hello friends, and welcome to a special edition of If This Car Could Talk, where we give you a brief history of the Chevy Vega, a wonderfully popular compact car throughout the 70s. Last Sunday we brought you the feature of a really cool and retro 1972 camback wagon. If you didn't see it, you should really go back to find it. You won't be disappointed. Please be sure to like and share this video and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Send us a comment about this or any other video. We read each one and want to know what you guys think. Now, let's go for a ride. The dawning of the 1970s saw an entirely new automotive market emerging as government regulations, insurance companies, and environmentalists targeted not only the muscle car segment of the market, but all of the automotive offerings produced by American companies. Mostly due to their larger and heavier cars, and more often than not antiquated engine designs, these cars were not at all what many consumers wanted to buy during this time. Factor in the ever-present foreign car makers that were gaining market share each year, and it was becoming clear the direction the industry was heading. In a way, these smaller cars would be able to better handle the gasoline shortages and consequent rationing, particularly Volkswagen, Toyota, and Datsun, and other makes that would soon make a big impact on the automotive scene. It was time for all four American auto companies to respond. At the time, each manufacturer would rush a new class of car, the subcompact, to the market, and all would have issues related to quality, longevity, safety, and reliability. At Chevrolet, their new subcompact entry into the market for 1971 was called Vega, named for the brightest star in the constellation Lyra. Ed Cole, GM's Executive Vice President of Operating Staffs, had been working on his own small car project along with various corporate engineering and design staffs since the early 1960s, when the Corvair, the Chevy 2, the Buick Special, the Oldsmobile F-85, and the Pontiac Tempest all debuted. The competition also had formidable offerings at the time, with Ford selling the Falcon and Mercury Comet. At Chrysler, the Dodge Lancer and its sister car, the Plymouth Valiant, sold very well. American Motors had the Rambler and Studebaker the Lark. Cole watched the market closely and always kept abreast of what the engineering and marketing teams were doing. With this insider information, he proposed a more modern and even smaller car to GM's president in 1967. GM ultimately chose Cole's version over proposals from Chevrolet and Pontiac, and eventually gave the car to Chevrolet to sell. Corporate management made the decision to enter the small car market and to develop the car itself. In 1968, GM chairman James Roach announced that GM would produce the totally new car in the U.S. within the next 2 years. Ed Cole was named the chief engineer, and the infamous vice president of design, Bill Mitchell, would be the chief stylist. A GM design team was set up, headed by James G. Musser Jr., who had helped develop the small block Chevrolet V8 and the turbo automatic transmissions in addition to the Chevy 2 and the Camaro. As GM's president, Ed Cole oversaw the car's development and met all of the project's schedules. Ultimately, about 50 engineers of various disciplines were dedicated to the design of the entire car. Teams were divided into specialized groups such as body, chassis design, powertrain, interiors, marketing, and quality. The latter would check continuously on the vehicles on the assembly line, with computers continuously monitoring quality control for every vehicle built. The Vega was conceived to utilize newly developed all-aluminum die-cast engine block technology. The first sand-cast aluminum blocks had preceded the decision to build the car by 2 years. This new exclusive to Vega four-cylinder engine displaced 2.3 liters or 140 cubic inches and was of an inline design. The cylinder block was die-cast and an aluminum alloy, along with cast iron cylinder head that used one overhead camshaft. The Vega suspension, consisting of coil springs at all four corners, supported a conventional rear axle suspended by a four-link setup. Front suspension was independent and utilized short and long arms, with the lower arms sporting bushings larger than the Camaro of the time. A weight distribution of 53.2% front and 46.8% rear created a low center mass of gravity to give the car excellent steering and handling characteristics. The chassis development engineers were ultimately shooting for a full-sized American car ride sprinkled with qualities of European handling. Later torque arm rear suspension eliminated rear wheel hop under panic braking. The braking system consisted of front discs and rear drums, closely mimicking an earlier Opel design. All models had two doors and consisted of a hatchback coupe, a station wagon called a camback, and a panel delivery, which was essentially a wagon with the rear side windows filled in. All shared the same hood, fenders, floor pans, lower door panels, rocker panels, and engine compartment and front end. The wheelbase on all models is 97 inches and the width is 65.4 inches. The 1971 and 2 models are 169.7 inches long. The 1973 models are 3 inches longer due to the front 2.5 mile per hour impact front bumper. Front and rear 5 mile an hour bumpers on 1974 to 7 models added another 5.7 inches to the overall length. A relatively large displacement engine with good low-speed torque was decided on, with transmission and rear axle gear ratios designed for lower engine RPM that would result in the greatest fuel economy. The Vega was finally ready to begin assembly at the new $75 million Lordstown, Ohio plant. It was near Youngstown and was the most advanced and automated auto plant built at the time. Approximately 95% of each Vega's body's 3,900 individual welds were carried out automatically by Unimate industrial robots. Engine and rear axle assemblies positioned by hydraulic lifts with bodies dropping from overhead moved the production line along at 30 feet per minute. With this new plant, it was estimated that 100 Vegas could be built per hour. That's one every 36 seconds, from the start. This was twice the normal volume of any other plant, and within months, Lordstown was producing 73.5 Vegas an hour. The Vega received praise and awards at its introduction, including Motor Trend's Car of the Year in 1971. By September of 1970, each Chevrolet dealer across the country had a sufficient inventory of Vegas, and they were all sold as 1971 models. The cars were selling well, so in October of 1971, General Motors handed the management duties of Lordstown from Chevrolet and Fisher Body to General Motors Assembly Division. Soon, GMAD began implementing more rigorous discipline and cost-cutting measures. This led to the layoffs of hundreds of workers. Management accused existing workers of retaliation by slowing the line and sabotaging cars by omitting parts and doing shoddy work. Workers said GM sped up the line while cutting staff. Not surprisingly, quality suffered. In March of 1972, the 7,700 workers still employed at Lordstown called for a wildcat strike that lasted a month and cost GM $150 million. Despite this, overall Vega production rose by over 100,000 units from the 1971 totals and would have been even stronger were it not for the strike. For 1972, models had a revised exhaust system and a new drive shaft to reduce vibration and noise. A turbo hydromatic 3-speed automatic transmission and a custom cloth interior were optional, and a glove box was added. There were also countless other small improvements made as well. For 1973, 300 changes including new exterior and interior colors and new standard interior trims. Front and rear nameplate scripts Chevrolet Vega 2300 were changed to Vega by Chevrolet. New options included BR7013 white-wall steel-belted radial tires, full wheel covers, and body side moldings with a black rubber insert. 2 new models were introduced mid-year: the Estate Wagon with faux wood grain side and rear trim, and the LX Notchback with a vinyl roof. On May 17, 1973, the millionth Vega left the Lordstown assembly plant. An orange GT hatchback with white sport stripes and neutral-colored custom vinyl interior, including exclusive vinyl door panels. A limited edition millionth Vega was introduced, replicating the milestone car, with orange carpeting and millionth Vega door handle accents. 6,500 were built from May 1st to July 1st. For the first time, cloth upholstery would be offered in either black or blue. For 1974, there would be more additional revisions and upgrades, most notably the increase in fuel capacity to a 16 U.S. gallon tank that replaced the earlier 11 U.S. gallon tank. January saw plastic front fender liners added after thousands of fenders were replaced under warranty due to premature rusting on the 1971 to 74 models. In February, the Spirit of America limited edition hatchback was introduced. It was quite a looker and certainly an appropriate way for the country to begin celebrating its upcoming bicentennial. 7,500 of these special Vegas were built through May. 1975 model cars would be built at 100 cars per hour with no downtime. As production reached 100 vehicles per hour, problems arose in the paint shop. It seems that even at 85 units per hour, nearly all required repairs. Conventional spray gun pressures could not apply the paint fast enough, so increasing pressures and using larger spray gun tips resulted in runs and sags. Something had to be done and fast. GM's Fisher Body division, along with lacquer paint supplier DuPont, developed new paint chemistry and application specifics over one weekend. The new formulation raised paint shop production capabilities to 106 units per hour. Throughout the model year, there would be some 264 changes to the lineup of Vega cars. The Panel Express model was discontinued at the end of the model year due to low sales. This would also be the freshman year of the high-performance Vega called the Cosworth. In August of 1975, Chevrolet conducted an endurance test of 3 Vegas powered by Durabuilt engines, advertised as a 60,000 miles in 60 days durability run. Supervised by the United States Auto Club, 3 pre-production 1976 hatchback coupes with manual transmissions and air conditioning were driven non-stop for 60,000 miles in 60 days through the deserts of California and Nevada by 9 drivers, covering a total of 180,000 miles. The only notable failure was a broken timing belt. Vega production engineer Bernie Ernest said GM felt very comfortable with the warranty. Motor Trend magazine said Chevrolet chose the 349-mile southwestern desert route in order to show the severely criticized engine and cooling system had been improved for the 1976 model. In ambient temperatures between 99 and 120 degrees Fahrenheit, the cars collectively lost only 24 U.S. fluid ounces of coolant, which was considered normal. The cars averaged a respectable 28.9 miles per gallon and used just 1 quart of oil per 34,000 miles, which again is considered normal. One of the cars went on display at the 1976 New York Auto Show. The 1976 Vega was marketed as a durable and reliable car and was perceived as such by the car-buying public. For 1976, the various models had nearly 300 changes. A minor facelift included a revamped header panel with a Chevrolet emblem, a wider grille, and revised headlamp bezels, now all made in a corrosion-resistant material. New tri-colored taillights appeared for the notchback and hatchback models. Cooling the Durabuilt 2.3-liter engine was improved. Several new models were introduced, a GT Estate wagon, and the limited edition Nomad wagon with restyled side windows, and a Cabriolet hatchback with a half-vinyl roof and opera windows, similar to the Monza Town Coupe. Popular new options included a Borg-Warner 5-speed manual overdrive transmission, and the Cosworth model was canceled in July after 1,446 76 models were built. For 1977, models had few revisions. The notchback was renamed Coupe. The single-barrel engine and 3-speed manual transmission were dropped. Interiors received a color-keyed steering column, steering wheel, instrument cluster face, and parking brake cover. with a color-keyed full console as a new option. GTs received black exterior moldings, with the lower moldings deleted, black sport mirrors and wheels. The Monza was set to replace the Vega, and it had been sold alongside the Vega for a while now. And so ended another chapter of automotive history. Like many cars that were considered to be problematic at the time, the Vega was really not a bad car, considering the times and what their domestic competitors were offering. Now, nearly 50 years later, the Vega is remembered fondly by people that had some association with them. Because of normal attrition, good examples are getting to be very difficult to find. However, with the sheer number of them produced over 7 years, with some patience, nice cars are still out there, just waiting to be discovered. Tell us in the comments about your favorite Vega memory. We always love hearing from you guys. Be sure to give this video the thumbs up and share it with your friends. Next Sunday, join us as we visit the Dwarf Car Museum in Maricopa, Arizona. Proprietor Ernie Adams is an amazing craftsman who builds all of his scale replica cars from scratch. You won't believe the detail and his dedication to hand making each and every part of the cars he builds. We sit down with Ernie and hear his story about how all of this started. It's going to be a lot of fun. You won't want to miss it. See you this coming Sunday, and remember, please be careful out there.